They pick a state, they set up an LLC or an S corp, and then what do they go from there?
And then from there, they would, if they're selling things, they would need to get set up with their sales tax with the state. If they're selling online, they would have to get sales tax set up on every state that requires online sales tax. Some states don't. A lot of them are requiring that now, that have sales tax. If they have any employees in those states that they actually have hard employees instead of just functioning as a company with no employees in the states, they would need to be set up for payroll with state withholdings, state unemployment. So that would be their big setup within each state, would be making sure they're covering all their employment bases.
Okay.
And their tax.
All right. So what about like setting up like quarterly taxes and all those different things? Like what else do they need to get it set up so they're a functioning business here?
Well, if they're doing payroll, that would all come basically one setup. So all your quarterly taxes, once you set up to pay employees in a state, that gives you your state withholding number, your state unemployment. You already have a federal tax ID number when you set up your entity. And then basically you just have to file all the reports quarterly based on what each individual state requires. Like for instance, Utah requires you pay state withholdings either monthly or quarterly, depending on how much you owe on withholdings. And then they require quarterly filings on state unemployment. And if they would have to get workers' compensation as well. And then as far as federal filing, it's the same regardless of what state you're in. You have to file your 941s every quarter unless you have minimal payroll, in which case you just file one report annually.
Okay. What is minimal? Like what would be minimal payroll?
Well, basically they have, if you're over 50,000 a year, you have to submit your payroll taxes on a semi-weekly basis. So basically you have a few days after payroll, you submit it and you file a 941. Okay. Say you have your payroll might be under, I'm not sure what the limit is because I don't have anybody that are small enough for a 944. The 944 is the annual filing. Basically you pay your withholdings on a monthly basis, but your annual withholding is probably under 1,000 or 2,500 for the year. And you just file one form at the end of the year and report a W-2 for the IRS. But that would basically be a very small company.
Yeah, very small.
Very small. I mean, the only ones I had one landscape company that they only paid seasonal employees. So they pay during the summer and they pay during the snow.
Okay.
And I think their annual salary was under 5,000 and they filed a 944 for the year.
Oh, really? Interesting.
But I don't have enough that are annually to know what the actual limits are on that.
Okay.